We're going to start by taking a look at the 921A and B oscillator section. Let's start by opening the preset browser and selecting New Preset here. Now we have a blank slate, and as you can see, no connections are made. Let's look at the oscillator section. I'll hide away the keyboard so we can look at this better. So here you have the 921A, the oscillator driver, and two identical 921Bs. The 921A drives the two 921Bs. Think of it like a master control for the two 921Bs, which are the actual oscillators. There are no outputs on the 921A. It has a frequency control, which can be set in semitones or in octaves. You can switch between the two modes with this switch here. Double tap to reset that to 0. You have a pulse width control here. Again, it controls the pulse width of the pulse shapes on the two 921Bs. There are 3 CV inputs to modulate the frequency of the 921Bs, and 2 CV ins to modulate the pulse width of the 921B's pulse wave. Okay, so to hear this, let's double tap on the sawtooth out on the first 921B, and let's connect this directly to the trunk line. Now before we do this, let's open the keys module and bring down the master volume here. Now double tap on the first trunk line to make the connection. Now I'll slowly bring up the volume. So we get the sawtooth sound. Let's scroll back here. I can play different notes. You hear the change because the CV from the keyboard is hardwired to the pitch of the oscillators. If you want to disable that, you can scroll down here where you see controls 2. There are 2 switches, oscillator and envelope. If I turn off the oscillator, now the keyboard does not change the pitch of the oscillator. Okay, let's turn that back on. Now we can listen to the controls. Frequency here in octaves. Let's switch it to semitones. So as you can see, the 921A is controlling or driving the 921B. Pulse width won't work as we are listening to the sawtooth signal. So I'll switch that out to rectangular, which is the pulse wave. Now we hear the pulse width change. Cool. Let's now jump ahead to the 921B. It too has its own pitch control. It's in semitones, but you get a separate octave switch below. It's measured in feet, just like most analog synths. You have sync options with the sync in jack to get hard sync, off, or go for a soft sync. We will listen to that later. Now, other than the rectangle and sawtooth wave, you also get a sine and a triangle. Let's hear the triangle. And that's the sine. The last 2 jacks here are for modulation inputs, which we will check out later. Okay, so that's the 921B. Now there are 2 of these, so you can have them running simultaneously. Let's take the triangle out from the second 921B and plug that to the mixer input here. Let's disconnect this trunk line from here and plug it to the input here. Now the 2 signals are going into this mixer. Let's now take the mixer's output, the positive one, and plug that to the trunk line. So now we hear both 921B oscillators. The cables are in the way of the controls, so I'll just double tap anywhere and the cables dim out. Now I can see the mixer level controls for the 2 oscillators. Set them both to maximum. Now I can change the tuning of one of the oscillators. Let's say the triangle wave. Maybe set it a fifth above. So we get this interval. Now with the 921A, I can move the overall tuning up or down. Switch that to octave. Now it's down 3 octaves. So now you see the power of the 921A driver. Let's make the level on the mixer a bit softer for both and switch the wave shape to sawtooth here and rectangular here. Richer tone we have now. I can control the pulse width from here, which is affecting the pulse width of the rectangle shape. Cool. So that's the 921A driver and 921B oscillator section. Next, we will look at all the modulation options available here.